John with the ProCut, and I'm here at a new job. And the first thing we're going to do is measure for some window casings. So I'm just going to see what we got here on the upstairs windows, 3.5 inches. So that's going to be 1x4 square for the trim. And then their casings up here are like 4 3/4, 4 5/8. So that'll be a 1x6 for that, and will need to be cut down. So we'll head downstairs, cut this light on, we'll head down here, and we'll go ahead and measure for materials. These stairs, we've also got to put treads on these stairs, and we're going to be doing all the base trim too. And then up there you'll see the contractor didn't put the vent in, so that vent's got to be installed. These 4 can lights are left hanging, so we're going to swap out this can for a pendant light that's going to hang way down. And then they had a smoke detector up there. They moved it by the door. They didn't finish off and repaint that, and they left this handrail all taped up. So these are all the little projects that we've got to finish in here. You've got to hang the electric panel cover. Got these 6x6 posts that need to be stained. The customer started filling, so this big split in this one needs a little bit more filler as well as sanded, and then that's going to be ready to go. We've got to put all the interior doors up. None of the doors were put up in here. And then we've got random electric wires just sticking out of the wall for seemingly no reason. We got to figure out what's going on with those. We've got lots of switches. Only one of them does anything. Another random wire coming out of the wall. We've got to grout this tile so we can set the commode and set the vanity, as well as trim everything out. The shower, the tub filler wasn't finished, and neither was the shower head, and the diverter valve that's in this, I'm told, is the wrong one. It needs to be replaced with the proper one. So we'll get into this, we'll figure it all out. But for now, we've got 1, 2, 3 windows and a door out here, as well as a window in here. They're going to need casings and trim. So that's the first thing we're going to do. And so I'm just going to take measurements and then figure out how much materials we need. Back out here on this basement job, and I've started doing the windows. So first things first is the casings, and I've got the top portion of the casing in place. And what you're going to do is measure your side to side, put that board up there, and then measure the part that you got to scribe to rip so it fits flush with the wall and the front of the window frame. And then you're going to do your side uprights, and then you're going to put your bottom piece in, or you can do the bottom piece first and then the uprights, either way. And then after you have those on, you can put your trim on. So that's where we're at. All right, well, framing the sound, your SOL on me using the mic mini, because for some reason it disconnected and won't reconnect, and that's why I don't use it, because it's a pain and I don't have time to fiddle with it. At any rate, so upstairs they've done the bottom before the sides, so that's how I'm going to do it, so everything matches, as well as a 1/4 inch reveal on the casing board, and the trim will be over, so there's a 1/4 inch of the casing showing. So here's the first one. The top piece of casing went on, then the bottom piece and the 2 sides, and then I did the trim. And you got a 1/4 inch reveal all the way around. She's ready for caulk and paint. On to the next one. I got another window, same size here, and then a smaller window, as well as that door, and then I have another one of these big windows in the bedroom. So with the first window done and ready for caulk and paint, I'm moving on to the next window. And this one, the sheetrocker didn't quite get all this. So I've got my roto zip, and I'm gonna go ahead and zip out the rest of that sheetrock with the roto zip. And I noticed the little window over there is the same way. They just did a poor job of getting all the way around. So I just got to clean it up a little bit and then ready for casings and trim. And I'm sorry, TC, but no microphone right now. It's at home on the charger to see if that was the issue. Now with this large mess made around my window openings, I can go ahead and use my vacuum over there and clean up prior to putting this casing in, because no sense in keeping that debris in the way, holding things up where they don't need to be. So the first thing I've done is measured across the top, used my chop saw to cut it to length, and then I marked for my rip cut with the table saw. So now this is ready to be put into place with the brad gun. So I just measured for my bottom casing, and it's only 35.5, whereas the top was 35.75. So taking a little better look at the window, and I'm going to assume they squared the window. Let me find out real quick. Open her up and see if she freaking runs. Nope. She runs all right, not too terrible, but at any rate, you can see there's no gap here, but a gap there, and a bigger gap here, and a smaller gap down there. So I'm going to wind up having to shim out the casing on the side to get it closer to level. The second one, I used my speed square. You can see it's got a long edge and a short edge. I used the short edge, which is 1/4, and I made a mark all the way around. So the reveal is perfect on this one, and moving forward they all will be perfect, whereas the first one, I eyeballed it, and the bottom board is not 100%, but it's in spec. Now over here, this one is going to require even more shimming than the last one. So I'm going to use some of these cutoffs to put in behind here to shim this casing out even further. Second one's done. Door casing and trim is done. And the small kitchen window is cased and trimmed. So all that's left for these is caulk and paint. So now I'm going to go into this bedroom here, and I've got one more window to put in there. Not a window, the casing and trim. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. But I'm not done yet, so stick around. A little tip on this one, I had a little bit of a gap at the front because it was tighter in the back, so I just pounded a shim in there, and then it brought my gap nice and tight.